I want to say to all our listeners and viewers, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Voices. My name is Socrates. Sitting in the chair today, it's Wednesday, the 3rd day of November, not Monday. For those who are accustomed to hearing my voice on Mondays, this is Wednesday. Once again, like last Wednesday, I'm sitting in the hot seat and want to welcome all our listeners, all our viewers, all the many folks who over the many years have logged on to Voices to be part of the national debate. Once again, welcome. We're going to pause for a word from our very kind sponsors, and then we come back for a little chit-chat, okay? Thank you.
Triple the joy at home as you elevate your experience with Flo's new Triple Play bundles. For the first time ever, bundle up and save on internet, TV, and home phone together for more satisfaction. For as low as $175, enjoy up to 35 megabits per second super fast internet, 70 TV channels with HD entertainment, and free landline minutes with the all-in bundle. Visit your nearest Flo store to sign up for a Triple Play bundle. Conditions apply.
When they start them there, we are top man, we take charge. Magnum we drink and we are shell down hard. Blast like a star with some Galapagos. Overdo it, we take it too far. Take charge, take charge. We are hot gal, we set the trend. Magnum we drink for the top man them. Wine with the style, no stop from spin. At blend, back bend, and take charge, take charge. Magnum tonic wine, for the real star them. Take charge, take charge. Must be 18 or older, drink responsibly.
Once again, good morning and welcome to another episode of Voices as we enjoy another beautiful day within the Federation SKN and the wider region. I know some of us may not be having the best of days. Some of us are having a great day. Some of us are celebrating. Some of us, due to certain circumstances, are in bereavement. It's still the day that the Lord has made. So we rejoice and be glad in it. For those celebrating with the birthdays, anniversaries, whatever the event, congratulations. For those not having such a nice day, we want to let you know that this too shall pass. We want to reach out to the folks in hospitals, in hospices, those working in health care, those who are providing care for the infirmed, those hospitalized, those who are in need of medical care, and, just general caregiving. We want to wish you just a great day. I know that this is another day where you're in the land of the living, and if you can share your blessings, because I always admonish that if you count your blessings first, all the other things don't really add up. Sometimes we get up on a day and we take on the issues and the challenges and the angst of yesterday, not realizing you're given a brand new day in the present to move forward. And so for the folks and there are many up there who are going through varying degrees of distress and wondering what's the day will offer, what's going on tomorrow. As a matter of fact, a neighbor of mine called me 2 days ago she actually saw me. And she asked me what's going on in terms with the aloe vendors and the hair braiders on the beaches, because you're hearing that the ships are now returning. There's a bubble area on Port Zante, and free access to the beaches is not yet part of the package. So she's been a long time waiting to see this thing, the development, and she's asking exactly what is happening. Can I go on the beach and operate? I said, I don't think so. I'll endeavor to find out for you. So there are people who have been long awaiting. We're talking about those in the service industry, tourism and related. Some sort of relief, long time awaiting that, and now it's here. There's still some hurdles, some hills, some rivers to cross. We've taken a long time to get here. It's going to be okay, just a little longer. For those folk, well, I want to say good morning to the folks in the security services, the police officers, the military, the security guard, those whose job it is to keep us safe. I want to thank you for your services and wish you the best, wishing you a wonderful day. For those who are in the transportation business, who are taking the people back and forth, we ask that you drive with caution. You take the passengers' lives, they're in your hands, so you drive with care and caution as you take them back and forth, because it's not a good thing to leave home, to go to a job, and then you find out with all your obligations, there's an accident or mishap, and then you're waylaid, etc. It's an awesome responsibility that you, the drivers, undertake when you take up persons back and forth. The hustle is there. You understand the competitive nature of the road, where you have to try to overtake, pick up the next passenger before the other person. In the midst of all that rush, mayhem can ensue and set you back in ways that you would not like. So we ask that you drive with due care and caution, and you take care of our passengers, the traveling public. I want to say good morning to very well. She's not controversial to me, but at times she's not the most popular person on the block. We want to say good morning to, I don't know if she's a sergeant or inspector, but Rouse, Traffic Officer Rouse, making her rounds daily. And I want to say she's doing a wonderful job. Not too popular with a lot of folks. And I've seen incidents where she was the subject of verbal assault. And I think there was some physical altercation some time back, but the lady is doing her job. We may not like the manner in how she operates, but the fact is I've seen persons who would have been on the verge to infringe the traffic code, doing things that they know they should not do, and they would see her coming and correct themselves. So whatever is happening out there, I want to wish Traffic Inspector Rouse a wonderful day. Those in the media, the responsibility is also an awesome one. For the folks who are listening and will be guided by what they hear you say, what you dispense, there's this thing called responsibility. You have to be responsible, double check information before you pass it on, because people sometimes take what they hear via the various media platforms as sacrosanct, as gospel, and go with that. So there are times you have to double check and make sure that the tone you set augurs to the best for the listeners, the Federation as a whole, and such. I want to pause at this time to send congratulations to Councilman Kenrick Isaac on his victory, his election victory. He has been elected for the 7th time as a councilman. So we want to say congratulations, not because you're from Sandy Point. Yeah, I had to get it in. I had to get that in. But yes, we want to say congratulations to all his family, friends, and well-wishers. To the councilman, very respected, very distinguished gentleman, and the fact that he has now been re-elected, for the 7th time, as a councilman speaks very well to his character and the confidence reposed in him. There is that. And I'm going to ask, well, I don't have any particular topic today, so the microphones will be open, the telephone lines will be open. If you wish to get in on the conversation, you're free to call and introduce a topic. We're here for discussing things of national interest. You have a voice, and there are times people rather listen than engage, and there are times they criticize those who actually make a contribution. It's all about you having an opinion, expressing it, asking a question. And as we speak, we go straight to the phone lines. Good morning, listener. Welcome to Voices. And we would have lost that person. Let me give out the numbers to call, just in case. There are 466-0989, 662-0989, 762-0989. And for further field, we have 718-265-6948. There is 508, and we go to the phone lines. Good day, caller. You're live on Voices.
Good morning, King.
Good morning, sir. How are thou?
I'm good.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yes. I want to bring to the airwaves, to the listening voice ears. This is the third speech for me by Mia Motley that she have released. Firstly, on the 7th of September at the first ever African Caribbean Summit, and then on the 22nd of September at the UN, and most recently at the Climate Change Summit held in Glasgow.
Quite so.
Now, I've been trying to keep Mia Motley's speech alive for quite a while, and I think we need to be aware of what going forward pertain to us as a people on all sphere. Mia Motley delivered a brilliant speech at the three occasions, and most recently that really touches me is at Glasgow pertaining to climate change. I saw the President of the U.S., Joe Biden, when she spoke, he almost bowed his head and closed his eyes. And looking at Mia Motley's posture, I saw, let me say, my Prime Minister, Mia Motley, was so profound, so powerful, so confident. And I think we need to, I don't want to say wake up. I don't want to use the word wake up anymore, the King.
You refer to her as your Prime Minister?
Yes, I'm not saying that Timothy is not my Prime Minister. I'm just globalizing it as the Caribbean.
Okay.
You know, looking at her, and she had the attention of those leaders in Glasgow, and they listened to her. I think they felt her the same way I am feeling her. I mean, you know, they always walk out at the UN when any African leader is speaking. But I think she got them, and they gravitated
They remained
to her.
enthralled?
Sorry?
They remained enthralled. She was captivating.
You know, I mean, the silence in the room and the attentiveness of listening to a woman. And again, I would say it takes a woman, because over the years, globally, and I'm referring to the black African leaders on the continent and in the Caribbean, they have failed us. Here we have signed on to the UN, and again, the King, I'm going to say this, we are hearing, I know we are pushing for the reopening of tourism, but we need to look beyond this, seriously. Because for me, what I'm getting and the information that I am aware of through certain platforms that I am connected to on the continent, Africa is the present and the future. The West knows this too. Now you can say 400 years of slavery has expired, and in my opinion, this coronavirus that they throw at us and the whole world is to maintain their status quo in power. This is my own opinion because I have researched. I've always said earlier that our CMO and our medical chief of staff, they released what's been passed on from CARFA to us. None of our doctors in the Caribbean are in any lab creating vaccine or creating viruses. So whatever they give to us, they tell us it's a vaccine and we take it. Our people have passed 70% herd immunity. Whether that was their goal and whatever is behind that, we don't know. Well, let us wait until 5, 10 years later and see what effects this vaccine is going to take on our people. Because you see, these people who are ruling, again, I'm going to say, they have our blueprint at their fingertips. So, 400 years, and this is scriptural, 400 years of slavery has expired, and they're not going to hand over the mantle to us that easily. We are at war, the king, and we need to lend full support to me as Motley stand at Glasgow, at the UN, and on the African Caribbean First Summit held on the 7th of September.
I was just about to ask you, I don't want to interrupt your flow, what were your takeaway from Mayor Motley's speech? Because you opened with that and you got me there, and there are a lot of folks who would not have listened or not aware of what she did. So what is your takeaway? What would you like to share with us from the speeches that she would have made?
No, let me say this. We have had the G7. We now have the G26, or I think it's the G28. These people are so good at names and numbers, and they come up with things. In the past, they always come up with the G7 and the G this and the United Nations. Let us bear in mind that when they did cut up our continent, no African was there at the table in 1884. No African was there, and they cut it up for themselves. What I like about Mayor Motley's speech at Glasgow is that she said, let me see, I'm trying to remember her exact words. She said, code red to G7, code red to G26. For me, when she said that, it's like, well, let us hope nothing happened to this, our Prime Minister, Mayor Motley, because we are aware of their capabilities. All of them there in that audience, in that conference, were listening to her. I see president, I see men of power listen to little Barbados Prime Minister speak with authority. And like I said, Joe Biden bow his head under his mask and halfway close his eyes. That speaks volume for me. And I want us to lend support to Mayor Motley. And I want our people to be aware of what is happening, because they over there know that they are trying to keep us out of Africa while they are there for their own benefit. Now, let me say this briefly, the King.
Please.
On Monday, you said some Quincy called in, and Quincy said, when are we going to get off the ship about Africa? And you said that the engineer cheered or something like that. Well, let me say this. What happened to Africa, future? If we are to close, let me not say close, but let us focus on Africa. And let's say, let me put Caribbean tourism, Caucasian tourism on the back burner. If we unite with Africa, we won't be needing Caucasian tourism. Everything that we need is on the continent of Africa for us, to reunite, because it's only our unity can rise us, and it's only our unity can cripple the misery that they put upon us.
And you acknowledge that the biggest impediment to our development has been our disunity.
Right. Well, this is time. It is time for us to wake up now and recognize that those who divide us, they have no interest in uniting us.
Okay.
Our unity has to come from ourselves. And that will cripple the misery because, once again, they are exploiting wealth out of our continent. And the tips that we are getting here in the tourism industry, in the hotel industry, cannot compare to what they are exploiting
Okay,
in
sir.
our raw materials.
Thank you very much. Well spoken. And I know we'll be back with you before the day is done. So I want to thank our first caller for his contribution. He researches, he brings information, and oftentimes people don't want to hear that, oh, the African thing again. You know, it's really... But I want to say this. Okay, let's take this other caller. Good morning, caller. You're live on Voices.
Hey, good morning, good morning.
Sister Henry, lovely hearing your voice. Good morning. Hope all is well.
Giving God thanks, man. The Bible saying everything give thanks, you know.
That's how we start. Well, yes.
Yeah, because the Spirit rule the man. If you are always depressed, you will be sick. That's why the Bible says laughter is like good medicine. It goes straight to the marrow and the bones.
And as a man thinketh, so is he.
Huh?
As a man thinketh, so is he. So if you think you're sick, you're sick.
Yes. If you are very pessimistic, you know. Because remember, you know, it's not man in control, you know. Man may think he's in control, but God, the Bible says man has his plans, but God executes. So sometimes, you see, when you leave out the God part and you're gone depending on man to deliver you, or some place to deliver you, you will become frustrated, disillusioned. You can hear it in some people's voices. Good morning, Journey. How are we doing? Now, with the conference on climate change.
Yes.
The one in Scotland. Of course, we should commend Mayor Motley.
Mayor Motley, yes.
But she was not the only speaker who said the same thing. Because I was listening, my daughter was playing it on her phone for me to hear. The different Turks and Caicos and different countries.
Yes.
We all face the same thing with the rising sea level. And our countries are low. You know?
The thing is, the chatter, the endless chatter that's been going on for decades. That's what she was talking about. All the chatter, and no
that's
action.
That's what she's saying. When will it end, you know? Because you understand the system.
Of course.
You have the industries like the petroleum and whatever. And then you have the coal industry.
And the lobbyists who are paid to represent the
powerful.
interests in Congress. Yes.
Yes. Not only the U.S. Because sometimes look at India and China are the biggest polluters.
Polluters, yes.
I went to India. By the second day, which I was host for a whole week, I went into the town one day. Man, I never see dirt on top of leaves, and you know they have these coal, they burn coal, so they soot.
Of course.
And the petroleum companies, you know, so they are interested. Because in every country, sometimes we think we say they. They who? In many of these countries, they have lobbyists, you know, and groups that protest against it.
There are those who protest.
We can't say that it is there alone, because if you listen to the conversation on the television, protesters have paid their way and gone to these conferences to express their opinion.
Yes.
And many of them come from the industrialized countries. You aware of that, right?
Of course I am.
Yes, so sometimes we condemn the whole place.
We generalize. We tend to generalize.
Yes. We said they. They who? Because they could come from here too. With all of the financial marketing system. They who finance the industry that pollute could be living among us. They could register their companies here too.
Yeah.
So what I am saying that we have got to present concrete plans and projects that we want finance. Because just a while ago, this Jazeera, they're talking the same thing. Who is going to be responsible? Who is going to check? Because they get at a meeting and they plan. Oh, we are going to pledge 1% of our GDP. Next thing they give less than half of our 1%.
With conditions.
You know? No, it doesn't matter. They just put it out of their mind. Because you see, we don't have the power to enforce anything. We do not have the power, the economic power to enforce anything. And we got to face it.
Well,
you may have the number of people, but you don't have the economic power.
Gaston Brown is leading a delegation to address some of the same issues, representing some smaller Gaston Brown.
He is the chairman of CARICOM.
Yep.
You know, and take for example, we need a lot of border thing. The erosion is washing away our country. You know, they have changed the road going down by Challengers. You can see the old road and the new road. And you see the sea creeping in. No, we should demand help to install or construct something to stop the force of the waves against the coast. We should be doing our own reforestation.
Do we do what we can?
Some things are within our power.
Mm-hmm.
We keep delaying. If they decide, look, the other day not the other day, quite a while, I was driving on a bus, and when I look up, there's a mountain, you know, going towards Virchilds. And I was seeing the brown part of the mountain.
At this time of the year?
I don't remember. But I kept saying to myself, boy, if we get a good hard shower like what they get in the States, then 12 inches of rain, we will be flooded. So some of the things that we can do, we're not doing. We're chopping down the trees, them. As somebody was saying, we keep moving closer and closer to the forest because, you know, people want to say
urbanization.
They live above the noise, you know, and so it becomes more sophisticated to live further and further towards the forest.
Urban expansion is a given.
Yeah, but it has to be controlled. There have to be limits.
Well, I think the planning department, that they have, say, there's zoning areas where you can, but the expansion is a must. And of course, when we argue the monkeys,
there's going up. You don't always have to spread out, and that is the mistake we're making. You know, we can have 3-story buildings instead of you have 20 houses or 100 houses here. You can have 2-story building, 3-story building that take up less space. And rather than building on the fertile land, there are a lot of land that is less arable.
But given a choice, I'd rather get my own plot and build rather than live in a apartment complex. So that's the thing to most persons.
That
the
is
economics.
Our aspiration. Everybody wants to be able to pull in their own gate, have their own fence. But when you look at the size of the country and the land space, because remember the mountains take up the thing. Unless we're going to end up like in St. Martin and St. Thomas, you live on the mountains.
But those
and
views,
then what happens next?
the mountain top view.
We ourselves contribute to the same climate change. And we keep chopping down the trees, moving into the forest, you know, and the way we deal with things, burning, well, I mean, we do less charcoal burning, eh?
Well, by comparison, we don't really measure up to that.
No, because that's in Haiti, for example. That's one of the reasons in Haiti, you know. The deforestation that goes on because the people use a lot of wood and charcoal for fuel.
Yeah, but that's the one is killed through the mega corporations who went there and cleaned up the hillside, which affected the flooding. You know, when you had the heavy rains. But that was a corporation level.
If they had a reforestation or planning, let us say planning, land use, because we have had land use policies as are done here, you know. People don't know, but there have been more than one. But you have a land use plan, but yet the people for the urban area, they go and they do what they want because they are in power.
I see.
The land use society housing could go here, industry goes here, and these hotels again that we are allowed to build on the coast. Sometimes they excavate, push down, and so they give the room, the water, the sea water, where we don't have any rivers flowing except old water to the sea.
In ways.
So we also contribute, as I said, when you come to the tourism, and we allow it. You notice we are going the same way on the coast, on the beach. You go to Nevis on the beach, so you get a serious hurricane that come from the other way.
We were selling sword and sand, but way back to
It increases the unemployment.
I think Hugo would have changed that thinking. Maybe when Hugo just tore up the coastal region, all the hotels, were affected. Would have changed that thinking, the planning.
I mean, in St. Martin, Holland House, right?
Yes.
The hotel.
Is right there on Front Street.
On
the
the
water?
beach. On the beach. So one little piece of hurricane passed across, it shut down the whole economy.
That's
You know, so some of the climate change effect, not the thing, the effect sometimes can be minimized if we will do proper
zoning
planning.
and land use planning.
All right then, so good afternoon to Journey. I hope you're reading your Bible still,
It's still morning, but he appreciates that. I want to thank you
good
for
morning. Yes, I want him. I like how he has this thing, but I say he's coming home. He's coming home to the Caribbean.
Oh, okay. We're going to pause on that note for a word from our sponsor, Sister Henry. And then we come up, we send us some salutations to the folks we know are listening. Okay, so, Mr. Engineer.
Triple the joy at home as you elevate your experience with Flo's new triple play bundles. For the first time ever, bundle up and save on internet, TV, and home phone together for more satisfaction. For as low as $175, enjoy up to 35 megabits per second super fast internet, 70 TV channels with HD entertainment, and free landline minutes with the all-in bundle. Visit your nearest Flo store to sign up for a triple play bundle. Conditions apply.
Campari, grapefruit, easy fi we. Brother he no hard it, easy fi we. Campari, he no cup, easy fi we. Brother he no hard it, easy fi we. Add the Campari with the grapefruit soda. That easy, bitter had the pre. Simple mixer, easy 1-3. Campari, grapefruit, that easy fi we. Fi mix a Campari grapefruit. Add 1 part Campari to 3 parts grapefruit soda. Drink at the bar, on the beach, or when a girl reach. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Okay, we're back with Voices, and we go straight to the phone lines. Caller, you're live on Voices. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. Anything special?
Good morning. Could you please speak up?
Hi, good morning. Anything special you're talking about?
Yeah, once you're on the phone line, is something special, so the
No,
mic
sir,
is yours.
I thought you have a special program.
No, we're freelancing today.
Okay, then. I listened to the Prime Minister thing last night, right?
Program, yeah.
And a female DJ called in and asked about entertainment.
Yes.
I totally agree with her because they thought the entertainment they are really, really, lacking. But my thing is I didn't listen to the answer what the minister gave the individual. But my thing is you could have the entertainment start something. They start early. For instance, they could start 7 o'clock. And by 12:30, the function finished because acquisition tend to like to go places late.
Yes.
So you give them a time. Okay, you start 7, and by 12:30, everybody should out of there because you still have dance recital and so on. They have dance recital and so on. We'll want to see something like that to open up. So that's my suggestion.
Okay.
And make sure everybody stand, sanitize and mask up. And as this same female DJ. One time she had a program, she said, if you come into the function, you're not wearing a mask, put you out.
All right.
So, going forward, I think that is one of the things they should do. Okay, then.
So thank you for your contribution. The last caller is in support of opening up of the entertainment sector, but on the conditions. You could have it earlier, she's suggesting. I'm not sure how many persons will want to go out there at 7 o'clock, but if you really want to get into the party, you'll find the time. So you're suggesting in the interim, because we are actually in a phase reopening of the various sector in the community. Okay, we take up next caller. Caller 11 Voices.
Good morning, the King.
Good morning, sir. How about you?
I'm giving thanks for life. And yourself?
Beautiful. Count on my blessings first.
Okay, good. And good morning to all who is listening. We have more listeners than what callers, but
that is a good thing.
They all contribute.
Mm-hmm.
Can I have permission to speak?
Certainly.
Thank you. Can I jog your memory into a few episodes, about 3 episodes back?
If I can remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
You had an episode all for yourself and your engineer.
Okay.
Before that,
mm-hmm.
remember we had a discussion about all things tourism and transportation. What was the arrangement with the scenic and so forth and so forth, and the
yes, I recall that
association that won out of the two associations. You recall that, right?
I recall that, yes.
Right. Recall, I think your last caller, begged to differ differently, and she gave her views. All views are entitled. Everybody is entitled to our views.
It's a democracy. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Monday, I spoke to Quincy a little before you came on, and I know Quincy is a guy who was in the tourism business for quite some time. And recall Quincy's contribution. He was talking about not the two associations or the 3 associations that taximen are familiar with, but he did say the rebels. And you asked him. He did not reply because
I know.
He didn't hear you.
I know.
Remember he said the rebels?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It seems that there was some who were called the rebels.
I recall
maybe
a few.
The freelancers. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Follow me good, because I'm trying to get to something. I suggested that Quincy have a vast amount of knowledge that I think he can bring to the fore. So even though that you have an advisor to the association, you could kind of still pick his brains because he can go back, right, into history, right?
Yes.
So history is important, right? The past, right?
Of course.
Okay, all right. Recall that the last caller on the episode there spoke about you must move on, you all must move on.
I recall that too.
It was in the past.
I recall that too.
Recall when you was talking the day when the phone lines was crashed. You then said, well, according to who this person is and what organization she
Reparation Committee.
It is counterproductive, contrary, controversial. If she is saying 20 years, 30 years, I must move on, but she is defending something of a more duration of time in the past,
mm-hmm.
I'm not picking on that person. I'm just establishing that we have to.
When it's convenient, certain people shift their platforms. Simple as that.
I am just saying that we always have to. Based on what Quincy would have said. I'm not dwelling in the past. But if I don't know my past, I always make the same mistake as I go forward.
Quite so.
Yes, okay? That is the point I'm making. Let's move on. Recall Monday also you spoke about the GMO seeds that the Haitian got and they dumped them in the water.
About what? Oh, yes. From Monsanto.
After the earthquake or the hurricane.
Yeah, in 2010. Seedling from Monsanto that do not reproduce.
It wasn't all, it was not just seedlings. It was livestock also. Well prepared that those livestock, would not reproduce. They detected all that.
Mm-hmm.
Henry spoke just now of something. Things was done in ways that the Haitian and anybody else would have. Yes, sometimes we get greedy and we go beyond the way we manage things in sustainable ways. But the point you made was valid in terms of the globalists, those people in the know, deliberately allow these people and gave people the impetus to clear up the land more so than how they would have done it in a sustainable way for their own benefit. They knew what was under the ground and what they wanted to extract from there. So that was done in a more proportionate way in terms of I go in and cut in some wood to make 10 bags of coal. You see, that there was that in coal industry was intensified. I wanted to clear up that part of the land.
That was
because the
industrial
satellite had already
rape. That
detected
was
what
different
was
to
there.
the average guy trying to get a little
Thank you.
money from
Thank you.
a coal
So when
pit.
we go in there in those instances, we have to be careful and know what is the global players, what is the benefit of this type of land, the rare earth, just like how we are talking on cell phones today, and certain components in these cell phones, they come from somewhere.
Yeah,
And they have to be sourced to keep that industry alive, right?
of course.
Thank you. That is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So back to tourism, I just wanted to get a brief synopsis as to the feel of yesterday. It's ongoing, another ship in town, everybody's glad about it.
I think there are 2 downtown as we speak.
I saw one.
You saw one? Okay. In driving in, I thought I saw the funnel of 2, but I stand to be corrected. I would have seen some of the buses going west as usual on the tours. I've not seen anyone from the Free Line or the Independents as we know them on tours yet. But I know yesterday, from what was reported to me, the safaris were engaged in some tours. Some names were mentioned to me. And this morning I was educated. I was saying to the public and to our members that we did make a good case for the inclusion of the safaris in the, the package. I was told this morning they only gave it because the ship came yesterday. They sell on large scale the safari tours. And only because of the certain entity, local of course, and I appreciate that, because the ship was bringing those tours that they gave permission. So I said, oh, but nevertheless, a number of our members would have gotten work yesterday from that person doing safari tours, and he is, of course, local, so all is well that end well.
Good, all right. I just want to give a shout out to Quincy. Quincy, I think you have a lot to offer because you know what has happened in the past. May I reiterate? Quincy, you know what has happened in the past, and we want to know what has been in the past. Don't think our youth don't want to know what has happened in the past, because that will lay a foundation for them to trust into the future. Okay?
When you get a
The
chance.
passage in the Bible has said that the Most High is, I am, I was, I am, and I shall be. So here is the past, the present, and the future. All of this is interactive. We, the living, we were yet unborn, we are alive, we will pass, become deceased, and then the cycle continues. It's cyclical. The past, the present, and the future is cyclical, interconnected. That is my old adage for today. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Hey, before you go, you can listen up there. Ask Quincy when next time you speak to him or with him,
Yes.
why he identified as a rebel and called himself a rebel, and who are the other rebels, because I know who they were and what they were doing and why they called themselves that. But ask him. And
Yeah.
check his answer.
To me today, I would say, I'm not going to put anything in a definition on his thoughts.
No.
In my mind,
He
in
said they
my
were
mind,
rebels.
What I will see it as today, it is with like the equivalent of someone who said that they are a freelance journalist, a freelance taxi person. You know, they're freelance. They are on their own. They're not tied to any organization. The BBC, the Al Jazeera.
I understand all
they
that.
do freelance journalism.
But ask him. You see? Anyway, thanks for your contribution. Thanks for your call. And the band plays on. I want to say good morning to Amber Lois Hodge over there in Anguilla. She called and I'm saying, I'm actually doing voices today. She thought it's only Monday. So, morning to Amber, Zara, and Cleo, and of course her husband. And to Rosemary McDonald up there in Staten Island, New York. Good morning to you too. Off today listening to the program. I appreciate that. Brenda O'Neill over there in Charlotte. Chris Collins over there in Sheffield. Many folks, many folks out there listening to voices. Oftentimes they call and make the contribution. Hope you're having a wonderful day. It is a great day here within the Federation. And for those who've been following the developments, yes, the cruise ships are returning in a phased reopening of that industry. Of course, COVID protocols are in place. I mentioned earlier one of my neighbors who she's actually here. She braids hair on the beach. Tourists come up there, get the braids on the beach, etc. She's one who makes a living from that. So she was inquiring whether or not that aspect of activity is allowed at the moment. And the answer is not as yet. So there is that. Yes, I was about to mention, I saw an article this morning from Dr. Wilkinson where he was speaking about what. Let me pause for a call from the public. Good day, caller. You're live on Voices.
Yes, the King. This is Journey here again.
Journey here again. How are you?
I just want to say good day to Mrs. Henry.
Yes.
Now, something I just want to throw out there. I don't know if these people are listening, but yesterday morning from 10 to 11, there were 3 gentlemen who was on this station talking about Haile Selassie. If any of them are listening, I would like to make contact with them. I mean, I was calling after they threw out the numbers, and to no avail. No one answered my call. So if any of those 3 men who was on yesterday morning from 10 to 11, if they're listening, if they can give their number, I would like to make contact with them. This is Journey. If anyone who knows them, I can't remember the name, but there were 3 men on yesterday from 10 o'clock to 11, and they were talking about Haile Selassie and all what entails.
Okay.
So, if anyone, I would like to get in contact with either of them. Thank you for taking my call.
Of course, you're welcome. Let me read something in the interim until we get a call. Refers to the same summit that Journey mentioned that Mayor Motley spoke at. This came from our Prime Minister. As a region most vulnerable to climate disaster, the Caribbean is prioritizing climate resilience. The Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, in particular, is making strides. Recently, the country submitted an ambitious national climate plan to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, to decrease economy-wide CO2 emissions by 61%. By switching to 100% renewable energy. The government, through Minister of Environment, Honorable Eric Evelyn, officially submitted the document known as the National Determined Contribution, let me get it right again, the National Determined Contribution, NDC, at COP26 on November 2nd. That was yesterday. The strategy highlights the financing and implementation approach focused on mobilizing support for its climate goals and positions the islands, St. Kitts and Nevis, as a more eco-friendly destination that's committed to the environment. So, Journey, there was a contribution also made by our government representative at that same forum where Mayor Motley spoke. So when you said she was your Prime Minister, we are also represented. We are of the same mindset. And I love Mayor Motley. And the positions she's taken, and of course she's from the region, and wants the other big guys to just stop the chatter, and take it seriously. But of course, we here in the Federation would have made a presentation also. Yes, Dr. Wilkinson, are we due for our station break? Are we? Let's see. Yeah, we can take a pause for calls from the sponsors, and then we come back and just have a chat before we come to the midday newscast. All right?
Quencher in my cup. If you have one, hold it up and say, must the colors in my life. Refreshing and nice, and I drink that what we like. But stand you full of vibes, living full color. I know black and white. We do what we like, we live to enjoy life. Bust that, pour it up. Different flavor, load it up. If you have one, hold it up and say, must the colors in my life.
Triple the joy at home as you elevate your experience with Flo's new triple play bundles. For the first time ever, bundle up and save on internet, TV, and home phone together for more satisfaction. For as low as $175, enjoy up to 35 megabits per second super fast internet, 70 TV channels with HD entertainment, and free landline minutes with the all-in bundle. Visit your nearest Flo store to sign up for a triple play bundle. Conditions apply.
To our many listeners on the various platforms across the globe, welcome back to Voices. My name is Socrates, host of today's program. And, of course, you're logged on to WINNFM 98.9 on the FM dial. Got about 8 minutes before the midday newscast. And as I was saying before the break, I was reading an article this morning by Dr. Wilkinson, where he was speaking about the advances would have made in terms of the containment of the spread of COVID-19. Our numbers are trending down. He mentioned there were 2 deaths yesterday from COVID-19. I don't have the particulars. But he spoke to the seeming attitude. There's a change in the atmosphere. People are becoming more complacent, once again dropping on guard. He spoke about 3 major countries who were having a similar experience where the numbers were trending down and then they relaxed the protocols and then there was a spike. So he's hoping that we don't fall for the same trap of thinking all is well. Our numbers are trending down. Things are good. There is a phase reopening of tourism. Things are coming back to some sense of normalcy. And he wants us to remember it only takes one case to trigger a spike and another outbreak. So please, he's asking, continue to observe the protocols, the hand sanitizing, the social distancing. I think that's the biggest challenge. You go to certain establishments around town, and that's actually been still observed. You go to the banks, you go to other institutions, and you have the signs. You have to stand 6 feet apart, and they observe that. But generally on the street, we congregate. And we don't wear a mask anymore because it's okay. I recall this time last year, we were saying, well, there's no COVID in St. because nobody dead. And then in the last 3-4 months, it was like every day, every 2 days, a funeral. And so we need to remind ourselves whether we believe what is being said or not. The evidence presents in persons dying, person contracting the virus, hospitalization, and bereavement. So do what you can. You go home to your family. You have a responsibility to those who depend on you, your kids, your parents, etc. You got to be careful what you take home. Got to be very, very careful what you take home. For the Dominicans in St. Kitts, Nevis, and those around the region, we want to say congratulations. You're celebrating your 43rd year of independence. Antigua celebrating, I think Antigua got theirs about 3 years before we got ours in 1983. So Antigua is celebrating, I think, their 40th anniversary of independence. Dominica, the 43rd year, and we are we're coming up there. So congratulations to Dominicans. I know we have plenty in St. Kitts. DA, big up yourself. Congratulations on attaining your 43rd year of independence. I know the conversation can go to Barbados. We need to get away with the vestiges of independence because the Queen Elizabeth is still the figurehead. She represents on the currency. She is the, even though we are seen as an independent nation, we are all members of the British Commonwealth, of which the Queen is the figurehead. Our Governor General, he represents the Crown. The Prime Minister represents the state. And so, when they take the oath in Parliament, I pledge allegiance to the Queen, her heirs and successors. So there's independence and there's independence. So May Motley say, you know what? I've had enough of that. Like Trinidad, we're going to be a republic. And she's very much applauded for that. Sometimes one has to look at the dynamics, all that's at play. Our government here has been challenged from time to time to done away with the Queen. We need to get away from the Queen and this and that, and is a house. You know, we understand in Anguilla, if there's an issue, Anguilla, Montserrat, and Tola, the Crown has to come to their defense because they're still British protectorates. We are removed from that. But still, as an independent, totally independent state, we still swear allegiance to the Queen, her heirs, and successors. And then what was funny for me some years ago is to see our barristers. It was a ceremony. There was a reopening of the courts, the courthouse. And I was in the circus. I watched our lawyers all be wigged. All be wigged. Wearing the wigs. And this white wigs. You know, it was synthetic. And that's part of the uniform. But I'm thinking those wigs back then, even though they're synthetic today, that was for the old white men covering up their hair. They were bald, so they wore these fabulous wigs to give them a sense of youth, etc., etc. Why in this modern day are black people wearing white wigs? You look at the bar, the judiciary, and whatever, and they all be wigs. As someone will speak about 400 years of slavery and emancipation, and you have to begin with your mind. When you see, and I'm not picking on black women, I'm thinking about the education that we need to have. Our people boasting, I'm a proud black woman, but you'll be wigged. We've gone from the straight comb, the hot comb, etc., and you're buying wigs and you to look like other people. That's not an independent woman. You're trying hard to look like other people. If you're proud of your heritage, go natural. Go natural. As a matter of fact, I know there's an event coming up sometime soon where you have to be natural to take part in that. My chronometer says it's 11:59, so at this point in time, I'm going to pause for the midday newscast, and hopefully we shall continue the chatter on the other side. Thank you. It's been a pleasure so far. Speak to you on the other side.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International. By land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoy the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs, and make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, Dalil Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
With the WIN headline news, I am Kevon Brown.
And I am Devon Cornelius.
Making the headlines:
the traffic accident in the St. Paul's area.
Prime Minister promises inclusive 2022 budget and announced annual seasonal concessions. Prime Minister Mia Mottley meets with the U.S. President and other global leaders at COP26. Internationally, France will postpone planned sanctions on the United Kingdom over a post-Brexit fishing rights row while negotiations continue, President Emmanuel Macron has said. Now, the details.
With the change in leadership of the opposition St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party looming, Dr. Terence Drew, one of the nominees, professes that the 89-year-old political movement will re-emerge to reclaim the reins of government. Dr. Drew echoed those sentiments on Tuesday while delivering his campaign address for leadership of the SKNLP.
St. Kitts and Nevis is in dire need of new leadership. The St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party intends to be the solution. On November 28th, with your help and the help of God, the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party under new leadership will emerge prepared, renewed, fit and ready to once again lead our comrades to victory and our country to new heights of prosperity, peace and oneness. One love, one destiny. May God continue to bless our federation. Long live the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. I pledge to work on the people's behalf, following our party's motto, for the good that we can do.
Dr. Drew is the party's current chairman and candidate for constituency number 8.
I have taken this bold step of accepting the nomination for the position of national leader because I firmly believe that the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party is the best option for you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. I am humbled and grateful for the confidence that you have placed in me and for believing in me, even as I continue to learn and grow. Thank you for your love, support, and prayers as I endeavor to bring leadership to our party and to our country that is inclusive, empathetic, nurturing, consultative, transparent, and above all, democratic. One that chooses right over easy. One that seeks to nurture a new generation of committed leaders. One that begins with the ultimate objective in mind. I take this step on your behalf and submit to the democratic process without attachment to the outcome. Democracy, as well as transitioning to new leadership, can be challenging. However, we are committed to the process.
Dr. Terence Drew of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party.
The International Monetary Fund, in its October 2021 global projections for gross domestic product, shows that St. Kitts and Nevis is on an upward trend with an anticipated 10% growth for 2022. A 10% growth rate could be good news for businesses struggling due to the pandemic. A rebound is expected after the decline of the Federation's GDP in 2020 at negative 14.4% and in 2021 at negative 1%. On the heels of these projections, Prime Minister the Honourable Dr. Timothy Harris suggests that the budget for 2022 will propel the expected growth rate in GDP.
Our budget will be one important instrument which will propel that growth and keep St. Kitts and Nevis moving in the right direction with visible improvements in our people's standard of living. That is more jobs, higher incomes, better homes, and more opportunities,
said Dr. Harris during the November 2nd broadcast of Leadership Matters. The budget address for 2022 is expected in December of this year, and we await to see if it will rival the EC $867.9 million federal budget for 2021, considering the economic situation in St. Kitts and Nevis. The return of cruise tourism, with 78 calls expected for the rest of the year and 64 for the first quarter of 2022, signals a turning point for the country's economy. During Leadership Matters, the Prime Minister also announced some concessions for the remainder of 2021, which will extend into 2022 in the form of duty and tax-free imports on the first 500 pounds of food from November 15th to February 2022.
In making this concession available for such an unprecedented long period, we took into account delays in shipment of goods now being experienced around the world,
said Dr. Harris, referencing the backlog of goods being shipped to and from the US and China that has been ongoing for the last few months, which is blamed on not just an increase in consumer spend online, but also on COVID-19 restrictions. Other concessions announced by the Prime Minister included an increase on duty-free allowance on goods worth 540 EC for December and no VAT on the first EC $50,000 for vehicles.
WIN has received reports of a traffic accident in the St. Paul's area involving a hire bus H50, according to posts on social media. Allegedly, there were children on the bus when the accident occurred. However, WIN was unable to confirm these reports with the authorities at news time. WIN will provide an update on this matter in a later broadcast.
In regional news, Prime Minister Mia Mottley meets with the U.S. President and other global leaders at COP26. Barbados Today has more.
On day 2 of COP26, Prime Minister Mia Mottley joined U.S. President Joe Biden and the President of the European Commission on the margins of the summit to discuss how infrastructure development will be an integral part of the fight against climate change. Early in the day, Mottley again made another plea for the world's big countries to address the climate crisis before it's too late. In an interview with CNN's Christiane Amanpour, she said Barbados is already being impacted by the climate crisis despite its small carbon footprint.
To begin with, we have a serious problem with water. We have effectively drought-like conditions for the better part of the last few years, where almost as half of the island is at risk of getting adequate water. Secondly, we have an impact with respect to our coral reefs. A lot of the marine life that we saw as children are no longer there. Thirdly, we have the possibility of, and we're seeing it already, of saltwater intrusion into some of our aquifers, making the water situation more dire. And then we have the sargassum seaweed as well on the east coast and of most of our countries, from the very south in the region to the Gulf of Mexico. And this affects people who have restaurants or hotels or whatever, because the smell is toxic.
And that's because of the
That's because of the climate, that's right. And
of
then,
the water.
And you have not heard me say floods or hurricanes. And those are the other ones as well. This year, Barbados had its first hurricane in 66 years, and before that, we had a freak storm for 90 minutes that had 46,000 lightning strikes in 90 minutes.
She added that the problem was not urgent for larger countries not being affected by the changing climate.
I think people are getting there. The problem is that those who need to make the decisions are kicking the can down the road, and they believe that they can because they're not seeing us. They see themselves. And for them, they don't reach that period of peril probably for another 15, 20 years. I mean, you heard this morning 4 degrees to Shanghai and Miami to be eradicated. Well, it's 1.5 and 2 for us. So there are a lot of us that are going to be affected before Shanghai and Miami.
We now bring you these international reports.
Mid-morning in Boulogne-sur-Mer, and the fishing boats return with their catch. But for many, it's smaller than usual.
These are cheap fish, worthless, but we have to put up with this. We don't have any choice. For the past 10 months, we have not been able to make a living.
Gaetan wasn't given a license to fish in British waters, even though he says he's been working in them for years. His boat didn't have the required tracking equipment to prove that, and the paperwork he provided was rejected. French officials are infuriated, saying dozens of vessels weren't given the licenses expected by British authorities. President Emmanuel Macron threatened a series of sanctions if the dispute wasn't resolved. But hours before a deadline he set, he held off. Negotiations are continuing. Some here are frustrated by that decision, saying France should have been more aggressive. Others believe the measures could have backfired. But fishing here is often a family affair, and patience is wearing thin.
Honestly, I don't understand them. They give me a license, but I don't go often to their waters. I would have preferred them to give it to my brother, who actually spent 80% of his time there. It means I have the right to eat, but my brother doesn't.
It's estimated some in France's biggest fishing port have lost half of their income.
We're at a dead end in relation to fish. We've been living with this uncertainty for years while the British decided to stay in or leave the European Union. Solutions need to be found, and they need to stop playing with the economy and the lives of those who work in the fishing industry.
The UK denies it's acted unfairly. It's welcomed France's move to pause sanctions, calling it a major de-escalation. The UK's Brexit Minister David Frost is set to travel to Paris on Thursday for more talks.
I hope that people will be smart enough to find an agreement. We are depending on the politicians. We have nothing left to do but wait. But it has already been 10 months, and it's a lot.
Fishing makes up less than 1% of either country's economy. But for this community, it's vital, and they need answers soon. Alexia O'Brien, Al Jazeera, Boulogne-sur-Mer, Northern France.
The food shortages that have gripped North Korea for years may be underlined in a new public awareness campaign there. They're telling citizens to eat swans. Black swans, specifically. The North's state-run media has recently started promoting black swan meat as a valuable food source. One-party newspapers said, quote, "Black swan meat is delicious and has medicinal value, and that new industrial-scale breeding of the birds will improve residents' lives." Kim Hyung-deok is the president of the Korean Peninsula Peace and Prosperity Institute, a think tank in South Korea.
It's meaningful in terms of expanding the variety of food there. North Korea's food shortages have been ongoing since its founding. Then it became more critical due to the sanctions from the international community and UN. And with the COVID outbreak, the situation has become more severe. North Korea is a country seeking self-sufficiency, but they can't be self-sufficient. They need to trade with other countries at some level. But as long as they are limited, the situation will only get worse.
Leader Kim Jong-un has publicly acknowledged his country is in a tense food situation, and South Korean intelligence reportedly believes that Kim has issued orders calling for every grain of rice to be counted in a huge push devoted to farming. Although they also believe the North may have a better harvest this year, and that bringing trade with Russia and China back to pre-pandemic levels may also help.
You were listening to the WINNFM Headline News on 98.9. Our top stories were:
a traffic accident in the St. Paul's area.
Prime Minister promises inclusive 2022 budget and announced annual seasonal concessions. Prime Minister Mia Mottley meets with the US President and other global leaders at COP26. Internationally, France will postpone planned sanctions on the United Kingdom over a post-Brexit fishing rights row while negotiations continue, President Emmanuel Macron has said. Thank you for listening.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs, and make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, Dalil Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it.